Cloak is a piece of software that keeps you safe when you're using unprotected wireless networks, like at airports, coffee shops, hotels, or conferences. If you know what a VPN is, Cloak is one of those, but what makes us different and hopefully better is that we're extremely easy to use. We think of ourselves as the Dropbox of VPNs because it just works. Our traction has been unpredictable. The bottom line is that we're profitable and growing. Sometimes our week-over-week growth has been double-digit percentage, and sometimes it's been 1%. So actually our focus right now is trying to really get a handle on that and understand what our growth opportunity is right now. Oh, so many things. Let's see. One is that there's a massive education barrier about VPN technology in general. Why it's useful, why it's not useful. There's a ton of misinformation out there. People don't necessarily understand what it's good for, why you might want to use it. That's one thing that if I had understood better, I might have had a little bit more pause before starting this. Another thing is that something we sort of had in the back of our head, but really came to the fore very early on in the life cycle of our company, is that fraud is a big problem through a service like this, and you've got to really spend a bunch of time thinking about it. Well, when we first started thinking about Cloak, what we really wanted to do was build a piece of software that would keep you safe when you're using public Wi-Fi. And it didn't really matter what the technology was. Now, as it turns out, the right technology to solve the problem we wanted to solve was to build a VPN. But when we first put up the content on our website, we didn't use the letters VPNN at all. Our hypothesis was that we didn't need to. It just wasn't really important. And I think that proved very quickly to be incorrect. A lot of people do know what VPNs are. They're looking for a better one. We think we have a better one. So we went back and rewrote all our copy and our value prop, and basically now we're pretty optimized around those 3 letters. Well, I've heard of this tiny little startup in town called Authorgraph. They make some pretty cool tools especially for authors who are getting into the budding world of ebooks. I have a friend who just released her first novel, and she worked with them and managed to get a bunch of autographs signed out right away. I think she's pretty excited about what Autograph can do for her. Well, you know, I love being in a constant state of learning, and I think that especially for a team as small as ours, you really have to be in a constant state of learning. If you're not, you're probably doing something wrong. I really like also being in a position to test my ideas about economic reality against economic reality, which is something you didn't get to do. I was an engineer at Microsoft for a bunch of years. Like in the sheltered backwaters of Microsoft, you can't really do something like that. The only catch is that it's pretty brutal when economic reality tells you you're wrong. Well, the immediate term future is all about helping get more users into our funnel, all about making sure that the process of using Cloak is even better. We have a lot of feedback from a lot of users at this point, so we know where the pain points are with our software, and really it's just about iterative improvement right now. Long term, and stepping back, you know, when we first started Cloak, we thought a lot about the technology for VPNs has been around for 2 decades. Why don't more people use it when it's so valuable? And our hypothesis there was simply that it wasn't easy enough to use. Well, why isn't security software easy enough to use? And we looked at it and said there doesn't appear to be a good reason. It's just that people who have good product background, good empathetic design background haven't been able to tackle it. So I think more broadly, we'd like to think about that question beyond just VPNs. At the very least, we want to make sure that we have a sustainable business that we know isn't going to disappear overnight. We may even already be at that point, I'm not sure. It's hard to know what the boundary is. Long term, it's about helping people secure their infrastructure in ways that are as transparent and easy to use as possible. From the product perspective, we've built a better mousetrap by a decent margin, if I'm going to be a little egotistical. I think we really have done that. And we have some industry first features. We have one called Cloak, which no other product like ours has, that keeps you safe even when we can't create a secure connection and you're using a network we don't trust. So it kind of completes that circle. I think that's really cool. From a business perspective, I just love the fact that I get to work with these guys all the time. I think it would be a lamprey. Because a secure cloak tunnel is a lot like the interior of an eel with teeth at the end to keep the bad guys out. Well, I think we'd skip dinner and go straight to beers at Browers.